Afternoon, guys. So we are going to do the rest of the Twitter clone. Let me put it here. Right, so let's keep going.
Let's take a moment to talk about data attributes, which is a way of storing extra information in HTML elements. Back on my Triassic World site, I'm creating a gallery page, and I've got an image of a model standing in front of a dinosaur, and we had to pay thousands to get this model. Now, this is the only image I've got at the moment, but later there will be hundreds. And each image is going to have a like icon and a share icon. Now, if a user clicks on this share icon, I need a way of knowing that this icon is related to this image. If we look at the HTML, we can see that each image lives in a container, and the social icons, the like and the share, have a div of their own at the bottom. The image itself has got an ID, and that is the only unique identifier in this entire image container div. So when it comes to making it clear that this share icon right here is related to this image, you might be tempted to take this image ID and use it as an ID in the other elements like the like button and the share button. But there's a big problem. IDs have to be unique, and using an ID multiple times could cause us a ton of problems. And also, you might be thinking that we could use some JavaScript to get the ID of the parent element or the grandparent element of these icons. Well, that's not going to work either, because it's the image that's got the ID, and the image is not a parent or a grandparent of these icons. So what we really need is a way of storing some info inside this element that says this icon goes with this image. And data attributes allow us to do exactly that. Now, storing some data on an element is not some amazing new power. You do this all the time. Look at this image element I've got here, for example. It's storing a class and an ID. No big deal. We never really think of these in terms of how they're actually storing information on an element. Now let's see how we can add a data attribute to this element. But before we do that, let's look at the data attribute syntax. Often in docs, data attributes are shown as data dash and then an asterisk. Now that is done just to show you that the data dash part is the syntax for setting up the data attribute, and the asterisk represents the name you give the data attribute. So every data attribute starts with data dash and then has a unique name, which should of course be descriptive to the data that you're storing. You then set that equals to a string, and you put your string in inverted commas, and the data you put here can be whatever you want it to be, as long as it's a string. So let's see how that looks in real code. So we've got an image element here, it's got a class, and now it's got a data attribute. So data dash is the compulsory syntax, size is the name of this data attribute, and here it is storing the size of the image, presumably in pixels. Let's come in here to the share icon and set up a data attribute. So I need data dash, and then I'll call this one share. And then I'll use equals and inverted commas, and the data I'm going to store will just be the ID of the image that this share button is related to. And that is image -1. Okay, so we've got a data attribute set up, we've stored some useful data on this image element, and in the next Scrim, we'll look at how we can work with this, be whatever you want it to be, as long as it's a string. So let's see how that looks in real code. So we've got an image, and here it is storing the size of the image, presumably in pixels. Let's come in here to the share icon and set up a data attribute. So I need data dash, and then I'll call this one share. And then I'll use equals and inverted commas, and the data I'm going to store will just be the ID of the image that this share button is related to. And that is image -1. Okay, so we've got a data attribute set up, we've stored some useful data on this image element, and in the next Scrim, we'll look at how we can work with this using JavaScript. When you're ready for that, I'll see you.
Right, I need to take that data notion, data attribute. Go to here, log into here, blah, blah, blah. open an app, Notion. Let's put it ordinary. Yeah, that is HTML. Let's put it here. I will reorganize this. Call this data attribute. It's going to be data slash unique name. Right. Put it right like this. Okay.
You there?
And then equal to
Okay, so we have a data attribute called share right here on this share icon. And it's holding the ID of the image above it, which is image-1. So that is this image right here, which is the model standing in front of the dinosaur. Now let's look at how we can work with this in JavaScript. So over in index.js, I have set up an event listener on the document. So this is listening out for clicks on the entire page. And when it detects a click, this function will fire. So how can we get access to the data in our data attribute? Well, we need to use our old friend, the event. So let's just put an E in here, or if you prefer, you can write out events to the event listener on the doc here, which is the model standing in front of the dinosaur. Now let's look at how we can work with this in JavaScript. So over in index.js, I have set up an event listener on the document. So this is listening out for clicks on the entire page. And when it detects a click, this function will fire. So how can we get access to the data in our data attribute? Well, we need to use our old friend, the event. So let's just put an E in here, or if you prefer, you can write out event. Let's just log out the event. And now let's click on this share icon. And down in the console, we don't get very much information because the Scrimba editor's console doesn't give us too many details. But I took some screenshots in Chrome DevTools just a moment ago. So when we log out the event, we get access to this object. And if we click on this arrow, we see a wealth of information. And if we scroll down, we get to the target. Now the target is the element that was clicked to trigger the event listener. So in this case, it is the I tag, and we can see its classes, FA solid and FA share. And actually, if we have a look at the HTML, there we are. We've got FA solid and FA share. So let's click on this arrow and open up the target. And in the past, we scrolled down to find the ID of the element. We're not looking for the ID now, but if we do scroll down, we will come to the data set. And the data set is where whatever data we stored in our data attribute will be kept. And actually, we can already see a preview of it right here, but let's click this arrow, and there we are. We've got a data set called share, and it holds image-1. And if we just have a look here, we've got the data set called share, and image-1 is the data we stored in it, which is, of course, the ID of our image. So let's remember the process we went to get to that. First, we found the event, then we scrolled down and found the target, and then we found the dataset image. So let's remember the process we went to get to that. First, we found the event.
Right, so then you go to the
Then we scrolled
target.
down and found the target, and then we found the dataset.
Dataset.
And remember, the event is an object, so we should be able to access all of those properties and the data we want. So let's go back to the JavaScript, to this console.log, and we're going to say e.target.dataset. And now I'll hit save, and I'll click on the share icon again. And in the console, we're getting closer. It says DOM string map, and we don't really know what that means right now, but that's absolutely fine. We've got those curly braces there that tells us that we're working with an object. So let's just try accessing the share property on that object. And now when I click the share icon, there we are. We are getting access to the data that we stored on that element, which is the ID of this image. And that, of course, is really cool because, as we know, now we've got the ID of an element, we can take control of it and do what we want with it. So right now, we might be incrementing the share count, for example. Now, okay, but we've got a bit of a problem here. If we click anywhere else on the page, we are logging out undefined. Now that figures because this is logging out the data that is stored in a data attribute with the name share, and that only exists on this one small element. So what we can do is set up an if to only log this out if this data attribute exists. So I'll come in here and I'll say if, and we want this if to check if this will return true. If this returns true, that means that the data attribute with the name share exists on the target element, in which case, let's log it out. If this returns false, then this code here won't run and we won't log anything out. Let's hit save and see if that's worked. So we can log out our data. Now I'll click on the image, on the like icon, on the logo, and nothing happens. Okay, so that is pretty useful. Right, it is challenge time, and this challenge is coming in two parts because I need you to do some work both here in index.js and in index.html. Let's start with the HTML first. So your challenge is to add a data attribute holding the ID of the image to the heart icons tag. So that is this one right here. Once you've done that, come back to the JavaScript, and I'm just going to copy and paste this challenge inside this function because that is where you're going to be doing the work. I want you to make clicking on the heart icon log out the ID of the image. So we've already done that for the share icon. Now we just need to do it for the heart icon. Okay, pause now, get that sorted out, and I'll see you back here in just a minute.
Well, this is something else. I haven't go through any of this data dot slash share equal image 1 right. Now we go into here, else if target.dataset e.target.dataset by clicking on the herd lockout. Document advanced listeners dataset dot share. This is dot like console.log event dot target dot dataset dot like image 1.
Okay, hopefully that went just fine. So let's come over here and I'm going to set up a data attribute in here and I'm going to call it data heart. And I'll set it equals to exactly what we did before, the ID of the image. Okay, let's save that and we'll go back to the JavaScript. Now we need to make clicking on the heart icon log out the ID of the image. So that involves doing a lot of what we've already done. So let's just add an else if. And now let's check to see if a data attribute called heart exists on the target element. So we can do that, deal with those clicks in whatever way we want. We solve a problem in our app and we can increment or decrement the share count. Okay, so data
data attribute naming issue.
I just want to jump in here really quickly with an additional scrim to point out a feature of data attributes that has caused confusion to some students. In my example here, we have used just one word for each of our data attributes names. So it's data-heart or data-share. Now, just like with classes or IDs, it's really likely that at some point in the future, you're going to need to have data attributes that have got multi-word names. So let's go ahead and do some experimentation. I'm going to change this to data-share icon, and I'm going to start off by using camel case. I'll save that, and then over in index.js, we need to update this in 2 places. So we're going to have share icon here and here. Okay, let's see if it works. So I click the heart icon and we are logging out image-1 just like we expect. I click the share icon and nothing happens. And we're not even getting an error to tell us why. Well, this is because the camel case that we've actually put right here is being flattened to lowercase by the JavaScript. So if I actually change this to lowercase in both places and I hit save, now it should work. And there we are, both icons are working. So the JavaScript has actually taken this camel case from the HTML and flattened it out to lowercase. So this gives us the first big lesson here. Don't use uppercase letters when naming data attributes in HTML. It just causes you problems. Okay, so if we don't use camel case, what should we use? Well, we should go for dashes. So I'm going to put this all as lowercase, and I'll separate the words with a dash. Now let's save that and update everything in index.js. So it's going to be share dash icon here and here. Okay, let's hit save and see if it works. Well, I'm getting an error. It says reference error, icon is not defined. And likewise, the heart icon is also broken. So there's clearly something going wrong here. And to fix this error, what we actually have to do is use camel case in the JavaScript. So if I come back to these two and I'll delete the dash and change the I to an uppercase I. Now let's see if it's working, and I'll check the heart icon, that works fine, and the share icon, and that is working fine as well. So what's going on here then is that the 2-word name of the data attribute that's separated by a dash is being converted into camel case by the JavaScript. So the best way to do multi-word data attributes is to separate words with dashes in the HTML and use camel case in the JavaScript. So if you ever find yourself debugging strange issues with data attributes, it's really worth checking for capital letters and dash to camel case issues before you do anything else. Okay, now we've got that sorted, let's get back to the main project. Okay, so let's continue our mission to get these icons working. When one of our icons is clicked, we need to know 2 things: the identity of the tweet itself, and also whether it was a like, retweet, or reply icon that was clicked. And we are going to use data attributes to get this information. What we're going to do is give each of these icon elements a data attribute. The name of the data attribute will identify which icon it belongs to, like, retweet, or reply, and the content will hold the tweet's UID. And that is the unique identifier that we've got right here with each object, and that will tell us which tweet the clicked icon refers to. Now, the first step of this involves working down in this HTML string. So if you'll remember, we've got this for each, it's iterating over our data, and it's creating HTML for each tweet. And we've got the icons here on lines 28, 32, and 36. So here is your challenge. I want you to add data attributes to each of the I tags. You can call them reply, like, and retweet. Each data attribute should hold the tweet's UID. Okay, pause now, get this sorted out, and I'll see you back here in just a minute.
Right, so if it check out the correct UID, then it would tell which post it is. That is smart. And then we do data slash reply equal here is going to be the UID, which is right here, unique identifiers. Right. Why can I not make it? Right, and then we do the same things, different UID. Alright, so here is likes, right? Like, and then here is also, this is retweet. What we can do is we do this slash and we do this tweet dot uuid tweet.uuid, right? There we go.
Okay, so hopefully you got that working just fine. So let's come down here and we'll start off on line 28. I'm going, and then it tweet. Okay, that is looking pretty good. We won't be able to test it or log anything out until we've set up an event listener. So that's what we'll be coming on to next. When you're ready, I'll see you in the next scrim. Now we've got our data attributes, let's set up an event listener. Now, what should we listen out for clicks on? Well, we could listen out for clicks on the feed because this is where all of our tweets are and we'll be able to pick up clicks on any of the 3 icons. But let's just consider the rest of the app because actually there are only 4 potential click interactions in this entire app. We have got the 3 icons and this tweet button. Now, I think eventually all of these clicks should be detected by just one event listener. That will keep our code nice and dry. So instead of listening out for clicks on the feed, I want to listen out for clicks on the document. So that will actually cover the entire browser page, and it's going to pick up both the feed and the button. Now, over here in index.js, we've already got one event listener purely for this tweet button. We could refactor this right now, but let's keep things simple and set up a new event listener just while we work on these icons. Then when we're done, we'll refactor down to just one event listener. Okay, so there's our event listener detecting clicks on the document. Now we have it, we need to use it to get access to the data stored in the data attribute when the like icon is clicked. So bear with me a moment while I set you a challenge. Okay, so here's the challenge. When a like icon is clicked, this function should log out the contents of the data like data attribute. So you'll remember that is the one right down here. We have got this heart icon, this like icon, and here is the data attribute, and it's just holding the UID of that tweet. Now, when you've done this, you'll find that clicking anywhere on the page, but not on the like icon, is going to log out undefined. That is absolutely fine. And in fact, we're going to use that to our benefit a little bit later. Okay, if you need to go back a few scrims to check the syntax for accessing data attributes, that is absolutely fine. Pause now, get this challenge sorted, and I'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
Right, so we need to listening for an event. Listening for click. And then what we can do is if and then this event.target dot data set dot like, right? What we can do is we console dot log e. Right, so we do if the event dot target dot data set dot data dot like is true, then we do console dot log e dot target dot data set dot like. It's give me now. Also give me this, right? Then we do else if do the same thing for retweet like this, and another else if for reply console.log retweet and reply. Let's try and see if our like button is listening to us or is going to give us anything. Let's do reply. So it is giving me the unique identifiers for the post. So each post is going to have like a unique key to it. This one is 4B1161161 something. Right, now what if we click this, right? But now the hard part is that it doesn't know which one is like, which one is like, which one is share, and which one is.
Okay, so hopefully you got that working just fine. So the first thing that we need to do then is take in the event, and I'm just going to use E. And now we need to log out the contents of the data like data attribute. So it's console.log, and we can use e.target, and that will get us down to the clicked element. Then we can use .dataset to see what data attributes the element has. And if we hit save at this point, I'll open up the console and click on a like icon, and we're actually seeing the data attributes that we've got. And we've only got one, and it's called like, and we can actually see the string where it's holding that UID. So let's take it a step further, and we'll just put the name of the data attribute, like, on the end. Now let's hit save, and we'll click the heart icon, and there we are. Down in the console, we can see the UID that is stored in that data attribute. Okay,
Wait,
so let's see what happens.
Click on the screen. It's only listening to
When we click elsewhere on the page, but not on a like icon. So I'll just click on a tweet, on a retweet, on a reply. Each time we are logging out undefined. Now that figures because what we're doing is we're looking to see if the element we've clicked on has a data attribute with the name like. And because those elements don't have a data attribute called like, we're logging out undefined. Now, when we click on a like icon, we're getting the data we want, the tweet's UID. So that is really, really useful because look, now we know which tweet was clicked because we're getting the UID and which of the three icons on that tweet was clicked. And we can add a second console.log for the retweet icon just to prove this point. So I'm going to copy this down, and we know that we have got a data attribute with the name retweet. We've got it right here. Okay, I'm just going to add some labels to these console.logs just so we can see what we're logging out each time.
Maybe I think I know how to do the this. So we do if, then the like data.tweet likes plus plus, right? If let count like count equal tweet data dot likes, then we do this. So if it likes, so we do the like count plus plus. Try. Dot value. Maybe not.
Now let's click on retweet, and of course, I'll see you in the next scrim.
Like a tweet.
Now we know which type of icon was clicked and which tweet it belonged to. Our next aim is to be able to click on a like icon and increment that tweet's like count. Now, this is slightly complicated, and we're not going to get this working in this scrim. In fact, we're going to break this process down into several scrims. First thing that we need is a function to handle clicks on like icons. So let's go ahead and set one up. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to give this function a good descriptive name. I'm calling it handle like click because that is exactly what it's going to do. Now in this scrim, my aim is to get this function logging out the UID of the tweet whose like icon was clicked. So if, for example, I like Elon's tweet, handle like click should log out the UID that we've got saved down in the data attribute right here on line 37. Okay, so now we've got the function to do that. It's time for you to write some code. So bear with me while I set you a mini challenge. Okay, this challenge is broken into two parts because I want you to write code in two different places. You can do these challenges back to back. The first part of the challenge is here inside the event listener. We know we can tell if a like icon has been clicked by seeing if it has a like data attribute. If a like icon has been clicked, call handle like click, passing in the UID that is stored in the like icon's data attribute as an argument. Now, if the click did not come from a like icon, then no further code should run. We want to call handle like click from the event listener if and only if a like icon was clicked. Now, for the second challenge, handle like click should just log out the UID that is passed to it by the event listener. So handle like click should take in a parameter. You can call the parameter tweet ID, and for now, just log out tweet ID. Okay, now this is a little bit tricky, so I have given you a help document.
Right, so if like icon has been clicked, call handle like click and passing in the UID that is stored in the like icon data attribute. So let's try if console.log what click right, let's try it again. So it's console log out like and the UID. How about this? Passing out if a like icon has been clicked, eTarget.like. Then we call out the handle click. Passing in the UID that is stored in the like icon data attribute. So I'm assuming this is the one. Handle like click should take in a parameter. You can call this tweet ID. For now, just log out tweet IDs. Right, so do we do console.log tweet ID. Okay. So it's shitting out. My apology. It's giving out you the like and the UID. Then if this is clicked, then it's going to pass into, it's going to have this parameters and then function tweet ID. Now take this. Right.
Just click on this link and that's going to take you through into inside these curly braces a data attribute with the name of like. And we act now down in handle like click and let's hit save. And I'll click on a like icon and look at that down.
So if, yeah, and I click and then it passes into this, and then console log.
In the console, we can see the UID of that tweet.
We can take this out, run. Let's do like, same things. So it's basically passing this right here into tweet IDs.
And let's just check on the other tweets. And it's working absolutely fine. Now, what's going to happen if I click anywhere else on the page, but not on a like icon? Well, absolutely nothing. I can click where I want and nothing will be logged out, not even undefined, because we're isolating it down to just clicks that have come from like icons. Okay, that is pretty good, but at the moment, the job is half done. We have got more to do to actually increment this like count. So in the next scrim, we'll do some more work with handle like click to find the liked tweet in the data and work to increment its likes property. When you're ready for that, I'll see you in the next scrim. Tweet ID is holding the UID of the tweet that was liked. What we need to do now is get that tweet's object from tweet's data so we can increment its likes count. So I have set up a challenge for you to do exactly that. I want you to iterate over tweet's data and use the UID saved in tweet ID to identify the liked tweet's object. Save that object to a new const called target tweet object, and I've just abbreviated object to OBJ. And I've just put a reminder here that target tweet object, as the name suggests, should hold an object, not an array. Our data is actually an array, and we just want to take one object from that data. Okay, once you've set up target tweet object, you can increment its likes count by 1. And of course, to check it's working, you can just log it out. Okay, I've deliberately left that challenge quite open. I'm telling you what I want to achieve, but not too much about how I want you to achieve it. And I'm doing that to give you a chance to figure it out on your own because you've studied everything you need to do this. That said, if you're looking at this challenge and thinking, uh-oh, I have got no idea, well, don't worry, I have given you a help document. There's absolutely
Right, so first of all, iterate through the tweet data and use the UID save and tweet ID to identify. Right, so we do tweet data dot for each, and then we do function, and we do, let's say, use the UID save and tweet ID to identify the like tweet object. To identify the like tweet object. So the function is let's call this function, let's call E. So E now is loop through this for each function E equal plus equal tweet iterate through tweet data and use the UID save and tweet ID to identify the save that object to a const called tweet target tweet object equal tweet data, iterate through tweet data and use UID save and tweet ID UID tweet ID yeah, let's not use any function here, and we do if tweet ID equal to this is E dot, what is it, should be const target tweet object equal E, let's do this, target tweet target dot UID UUID right. Let console log this, console dot log target tweet object. Console tweet status unknown errors. Right, what is wrong with this? Target tweet object should be this, that. Target tweet object. Unknown errors. Let's call it E. Still unknown errors. Tweet datas. Iterate through use a UID save to identify like tweet object. Save that object to a const call. What if I do this? That doesn't work. Target tweet. Right. Const object, target object, equal to, let's see if this code works or not, target tweet dot target tweet dot UUID. Still unknown errors. Console.log target tweet so if the tweet ID equal to tweet target object, then tweet objects like count by 1 plus plus tweet target object should hold an object, not an array. Run target tweet dot like plus plus like count like what I can do is let like count equal to target tweet dot likes like count plus plus. Try and console dot log like count 21, 8, and 7. Increment target object likes count by 1. Let's go to the hub section. At the moment has the like tweet. What you need to use is that you find the tweet data on target tweet. To find the right tweet, use the filters. Dot filters. Dot filters. At the moment, handle click has you that like the tweet of the like it tweet. What we need to do is use that to find tweet and tweet data. Right, so we do this.
As developers, we tend to work with a lot of data, and oftentimes we need to go through that data and extract exactly what we want. There's a JavaScript array method that we can use to help us do that, and it is called filter. So imagine we have an array of ages, and I want to know how many adults aged 18 and over we have in our array. I can do this with the dot filter method. The dot filter method is going to iterate over the array, and it's going to test each individual element in the array one by one.
Right, so dot filters.
This is the test that we're going to use. We want to see if a given element is greater than or equals to 18. If the element is greater than or equals to 18, this test is going to return true, and that element will be added to this new array. However, if the element is less than 18, then this test is going to return false, and that element will not be added to this new array. So let's see this in action. Filter comes to the first element. It runs the test, moves on to elements that didn't be adults. Here's our call in the array. And we
target tweet object. So we are running through. So we run a loop within a loop. Right. So this, let's clear that. Const tweet object, target tweet object. Iterate through, save in, tweet identifier to the like tweet object, save that object to a new const. Tweet ID. Target tweet dot filters tweet ID. Right. We do console.log target tweet. Target tweet dot. So let's see an object filters.
We need to give function a parameter which will be assigned to each element in the array in turn. And as this is an array of ages, I'm just going to call that parameter age. So inside the body of the function, this is where we need to set up our test. So I'm going to use an if else. I'm going to say if age is greater than.
Then we do, what should this call? Target tweets, and then here is then match tweet, then we do match tweet dot filters if match tweet dot uuid equal to tweet ID
and or equals to 18, return true. Else,
return true. Let's try it first. Target tweet dot filters is not a function. Ages dot filters. Where's that? Delete all of this. And let's try and see what can we do here. Right, we do E, we do what can we do? Tweet console.log tweet. Now we do tweet const target tweet object equal to tweet dot filters match filter out the let's call function match tweet, right? So with console.log match tweet. Let's try tweet.filters. It's not a function. Pretty stuck. To find the right tweet, use the filter method. If remember, the filter method will give you an array that you want to work with an object. Tweet datas. Tweet dot uuid equal to tweet ID. Then we do return true console.log tweet ID. Tweet ID, right? So it gives you 4. Find the right tweet, use the filter if you need to brush up. At the moment, handle clicks has the URL like tweet what we need to do is to use that target const target tweet object equal to tweet dot uudid. Now we do console dot log the target tweet. What would we get? 3 of them. If target tweet equal to right, UUID should hold an object. Console.log target tweet. It's not even an object. Should be an object, not an array. Should be an object right here. Yep. If target tweet object is equal to tweet ID, let well,
No shame in
I
using
need
this
some hint.
tool to use for this challenge. So I'm actually going to delete this console.log, call the dot filter method. Now the filter method needs a function, and that function takes in a parameter which is going to represent each element in this array in turn. Now this is an array of tweets, so I'll call this parameter tweet. Next we need a return statement. Now we need the test that the filter method is going to call on each element as it iterates over the array. And this test is going to be tweet.uid is triple equals to tweet ID.
Right, let's do this. So const target object target tweet object equal to tweet equal to tweet data dot filters function, call this tweet, and then we do return a value. I'm assuming it's a value. It's going to be Oh, I think I remember tweet dot likes tweet.uuid equal to tweet equal tweet ID. Then we do console dot log target tweet. Let like count equal to tweet status tweet dot likes. I wanted to return this and return likes. Let's like count equal tweet
So what we're looking for here is if the UID propicons be saved to target tweet because the UIDs are unique, so only one object can pass this test. Now, the one object that we've got will actually be saved in an array. And you might be thinking, well, wait there, we've called this target tweet object. And you did actually say we want an object, not an array. Don't worry. Once we've checked this is working, we will be making sure that what we're storing here is just an object and not an array. So let's log out target tweet, and it is in an array. Well, because these UIDs are unique, we can be sure that this array is always going to have a length of 1. So we can take the object at position 0. Now, we could do that by setting up a new const And in that const, we could take target tweet object, and we could just take whatever is at position 0. Now that would work, but it's getting kind of ridiculous to set up a second const, and we definitely don't need to do that. What we can actually do is just put this position 0 right on the end of the filter method. And in doing that, the filter method will give us an array, and we're going to save the object at position 0 to target tweet object. Let's just try it once more. I'll hit save and hit like, and there we are down in the console. Now we are just getting an object. There are no square brackets. Okay, so we've dealt with the first part of the challenge. Now we need to increment target tweet object's likes count by 1. Well, that should be easy enough. We can see we've got the object down there in the console. So let's just take target tweet object, and then we'll access likes, and then we can increment it with ++. Now, when we save and we click on
target tweet,
again, hopefully the likes count that you see down in the console will have moved up to 28. Let's give it a go. So I'll click on like, and there we are.
wow, 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 wow.
That tweet now has 28 likes. Of course, we're not rendering anything out to the browser, but we can see the result in the console. Okay, now I'm going to show you something that is a bit strange. Instead of logging out target tweet object, I'm going to log out our original data, tweets data. And just before we do that, let's just have a look at data.js. And we can see right here, we've got the object for the first tweet, and its likes count is definitely 27. Now back in index.js then, I'm going to hit save, and I'll click on the like icon. And if I move the mini browser out of the way, well, wait there. Now the likes on that first tweet are 28. In the data, they're 27. In the console, they're 28. Well, that's just really weird, isn't it? Because we have taken an object out of that tweets data array, we've saved it to this new const, we've made some changes to it, but somehow we've managed to actually change the original data. What on earth is going on here? Well, now is the time to deal with quite an unintuitive aspect of coding. When you try to make copies of arrays and objects, it doesn't work in quite the way you would expect. So let's take a moment away from Twimber and investigate exactly what's going on here in the next scrim.
Well, this part is, I will need to rewatch. Right, I think I'm going to end the stream here, guys. It's been a pleasure.